Parallax, which is interesting. We didn't really talk too much about the Parallax. Typically, when you think of a Parallax position 1, you want it to be against core heroes that don't have high mana pools. So Wretched Hag is an interesting one because she is an intelligence carry herself. So that Earth Shatter is not necessarily going to be doing burst damage to her. But what the Parallax offers this game is it has multiple silences. It's going to force Wretched Hag to want to buy a Shrunken Head this game, which is not her typical early game item pickup. So I think Imboboy might be feeling forced to go an early Shrunken this game. We'll have to see how greedy his item build can be if he can get to that point where he's doing tons of magic damage with those greedier items. But the Parallax is very good against heroes like Pebbles and Pharaoh. He's going to be able, if he gets that early Icon of the Goddess, which is what they're aiming to get with him, he's going to be dealing so much damage in the post laning phase stage, like around 10 to 13 minutes if he gets that fast Icon. So I think Hellborn, they have this timing window to where they get some good farm on Prisoner if he's in that 2v1 matchup bottom, and they get him, some early item like a portal key or something like that, and then they get the icon timing on Parallax, and they're going to be really hard to deal with, even with Legion having that Tempest potentially getting those early teamfight items for them.
Man, are you sure you don't want to be infocaster? Like, what insight? I couldn't have said anything additional on top of that. That was all just top tier analysis. So thank you for providing our viewership with that.
I have to think about a lot of things when I'm a drafter for tournament teams. So there's a lot to really look into with analysis. But alternatively, Legion, they're going to be doing something similar. They're prioritizing farm on the Pebbles. And what better hero to have a good start on in any game of Han than a Pebbles with an early portal key? So both teams have their kind of objective that they want to get accomplished, and we'll see if the other team can kind of throw off that plan to some extent.
Yeah, you were talking about this dual lane, this dual mid setup. I mean, how often do you actually see dual mids in the meta these days? It's kind of an underused strat.
I would say they're pretty popular. Tri-lane meta is still top lane we have potentially a kill here. Does he have another freeze? He does. This should be a bloodlust. He did not have an apple, so I think even with an apple, I think he was probably still going to go down. So Zane gets caught out there, and we see the bloodlust kill happening top.
Yeah, there was definitely a fulcrum shift coming out from Parallax if an apple was used, but that's the start that you're talking about that Parallax needs to get that icon push. And he's going to want it this game, right? Because he's going to be going against high magic damage between Pebbles and Hag, so he's going to need that burst of HP from the icon.
So they get the bloodlust on the support, and I just want to point out that Anders here on the Glacius, he gets an early grave lock. I love that on a support because this is going to enable them to really abuse these pull camps and kind of maximize their gold. Mid lane, the 2v1 is a bit too much for Hellbringer. He gets stunned down. I missed that, but hopefully Paradise got it on camera. So we see 1 kill apiece. And then bottom lane, Hag taking some good pressure early on. They're only level 1 on both sides. I think once they get level 2 and Prisoner has the Shackle, then this will be a lot more difficult for Hag. She'll have to be very conscious of her hatchet usage. Otherwise, she could definitely fall to that 2v1 matchup.
And she is going to pot up here. And yeah, I mean, the gold is coming out. Oh, here is the shackle
already, so they're going to put some pressure. And I think it's just a little bit too short duration early, but it's good pressure nonetheless. They did already force out the pot, so Imboboy is not going to be feeling pretty safe to stay down in XP range for now.
Yeah, he actually opts to pull the small camp away, and Hellbringer, look at this. Hellbringer has given up in the mid lane. Ooh, how does this snowball into the rest of the match at this point? Giving up the mid lane to the Pebbles Engineer.
Yeah, it's interesting because completely giving up this lane altogether is going to mean Pebbles just has free reign here to get his blink as fast as possible. I guess alternatively, they could let Parallax 1v1 the Pharaoh, who's already been kept to level 1. We see him rotate bottom. He feels there's nothing he can do up there against the Parallax and the Glacius. So, it's interesting. I think I would like to see Glacius dual mid with the Hellbringer, and although you typically don't want to take away XP from the Hellbringer, I think that would be a pretty strong duo of heroes to go against the Pebbles lane, but it might perhaps be a little bit too late now.
Right. And Pharaoh actually takes some heat from Kinesis, just kind of zoning Prisoner and Kinesis in the top lane. Bottom lane rather. But Engineer just scouting out the jungle because he knows that's where Hellbringer disappeared to. Just kind of clearing or keeping these keeping vision on these stacks with the Invis rune. Hopefully looking to try and snipe out a low HP Hellbringer who does manage to get level 4. So this hero actually able to farm stacks in the jungle fairly effectively, wouldn't you say?
The Hellbringer you said?
Yeah.
Early on it's a little hard. I think once he gets like level 5 and higher, they start to go down a little bit quicker. But I did like the idea for Involka there to try to look for him with the Invisrune. Unfortunately, not going to run into the Hellbringer. But they do continue to farm on the Pebbles, so.
Tip is having a really good time. Already level 6 at level 4, or at 4 minutes into the game. Kinesis, he is here in the middle lane, trying not to show, but I think they're aware of him. Yeah, certainly there is the ward that he's walking under.
Yeah, so if anything, they might try to bait out their Hellbringer, but we do see Kinesis rotating out. Glacius kind of, he's here, but he's not wanting to show himself just yet. Perhaps wants them to go for a dive, which Glacius is going to go into tower range, I believe, here. Not going to take any hits there. He does take 1 hit. That might be enough, actually. And the Glacial Blast nuke will take him out. So Hellbringer actually got credit for the kill, which is exactly what they wanted. They wanted to bait a dive, and they were successful.
Wretched Hag and Kinesis kind of going toe-to-toe here in the bottom lane. Prisoner's got the steam boots already. Hag's not having that much of a, not having that great of a time. Has an item coming out. It's a power
Here
supply.
comes Tempest bottom lane. He already did use his hole, actually. And they're still trying to bring down the Prisoner. The stun is going to wear off from the Tempest. Hag blinks in. When needs one more auto attack, she's going to tank 2 tower hits, but she has the power supply and the last bottle sip. And Kinesis can knock it in range to finish him off.
Meanwhile, Glacius and Parallax taking out the Pharaoh in the top lane, yeah. So Parallax having a fantastic time. Already has the mana boots and 500 gold. Looks like he has an item coming out to him, I think, or is that Glacius? Kind of hard to tell right now. No, that's Glacius.
I think it's Glacius. So yeah, he does have the 5-minute sorcery boots, which is very good. He's on timing, I want to say, for like I want to say like 10 to 11 minute icon if the game pace keeps up like this, and that's where it might start to get a little scary. But again, there is the Pebbles, who has his steam boots completed. He's himself on route for like a 9 to 11 minute portal key timing. So all things are going to be very timing dependent here.
He actually has a smoke in his inventory already, so that's something to keep to consider. And he is going to walk into an invisible Kinesis. Isn't aware. Kinesis scouting out Pebbles, but it's a 3v3 here in the mid lane, so definitely going to see a skirmish here. Pebbles is probably going to misstep, goes in on Hellbringer.
He's going to do a toss back here. Now Kinesis is here. He silences up the engineer, which is a very good counter to them following this up. And now Pebbles is going to get caught as the TP support comes in, and Parallax all of a sudden is here, picks up a double tap. He's going to try to make it a hat trick as Glacius has a freeze coming up. We'll see if they can get this kill to the Parallax, and they do with that Fulcrum shift. And there's the hat trick, Sean, coming in for Parallax. And look at the GPM chart. We see 525 gold per minute all of a sudden on iHeart Sheep, and that is exactly what Halunki for President was looking for with that fight in the mid lane.
Absolutely. I mean, now Parallax has the glowstone, probably going to disassemble the mana boots soon. He's only what 550 gold away from finishing an icon. That's really scary. That Parallax pick coming in strong, and he might find it. Yeah, he was thinking about setting up for a kill on Pharaoh if he misstepped, but Glacius is here with the flank.
In a position for a dive. Now they only have level 4 on the Pharaoh, so he could get a wall up and they could TP in, but I don't know if they have the resources. They're going to port in 2 people already. Now we'll see if Pharaoh can get the catch here, as Engineer is actually going to be the one with the flank. So they're going to sacrifice their Glacius. They baited out 2 TPs, and this is going to give space over to both the Hellbringer and the Prisoner in the 2 side lanes. So although they do lose the Glacius, as long as Parallax doesn't die here to the smoked up Pebbles, this could be a big kill. I think he might be able to get the distance away from the team support there. And although the idea was good there, they're not going to get the kill there on the Parallax, which would have been the big kill. They could have got that one.
Yeah, that would have been the turn of the game right there, because right now Parallax is in the jungle looking to clean up maybe these.
Oh, Haste Rune. Can he get it though before the Pebbles? He's going to jump to it. He avoids the Stalagmite stun. Now he might be thinking about going back in. Hellbringer has a Malphus if he can get in range. Just needs a little bit more gap to be closed there, but we do see 4 players up here for Team Tim, so they're not going to go for that dive. I think probably the correct decision in the end. Kind of hanging around the area though. It looks like they definitely want to use this Malphus. Kind of a big cooldown. You don't really want to keep that on cooldown early game. So we'll see the flank coming in here. Can Hellbringer get the targets he's looking for? There's a kickstun from Engineer. Glacius gets a freeze on the Pharaoh. Again, still no ultimate on the Pharaoh just yet. Tempest gets his whole canceled immediately as Parallax is now here. They do take out the Hellbringer, but it comes at the cost of the Tempest. And now Pharaoh, he's going to also fall. And it's an ultimate warrior streak for the Parallax. Glacius got that first kill. They're even looking to go for more. Here comes the freeze, but can the team support get here in time? He's going to go for the body blocks. Tries to get in front of him, but Volk is just a little bit too slippery. Doesn't have the boots actually picked up, so Pebble's going to rotate over here. And it looks like Kinesis also without Marcher, so he'll be just fine in the end.
This is the game that Parallax is looking for. Parallax has the Beast Heart in his stash right now.
Or in the base to break that sorcery ring, and he's going to have it. We'll see if he goes for a kill. He's got Earth Shatter on cooldown for 30 seconds, so we might see him wait for that to come up before going for a kill.
So what's the next item that he goes for in your eyes?
That's a good question, actually. You know, I'm gonna say I'm not too sure. I think we could definitely see something like a Gnome's Wisdom. He could just bulk up, be very tanky, so he could go in and do lots of damage. I think we typically see Striders into like Post-Haste and Portal Key like later on, but those are definitely items to look out for. He might want to bulk up more on the mana pool a little bit before building into more of those mobility-based items. But I think he's got a lot of options still. I think
I don't play this
you
hero.
never count out Blink Sheepstick on a hero like Parallax. Going into mid game and whatnot. But I think going defensive items like Gnomes and Shrunken will definitely be very good this game at some point as well. So I know I just named like 5 items. As we see Parallax running into Engineer there, he's going to get a quick kill with the Earth Shatter. He turns that off. Here comes the counter from Pharaoh. Looks like Legion wants to retaliate as Hag is going to blink in with the Sonar Scream. Doesn't have mana for a Bat Blast, and Imberboy's going to get taken out there. It's a double tap for the Parallax, and now Pharaoh and Pebbles are going to try to bring down the Parallax. Does he have any team support coming? He is going to be a little bit tanky with that regen from the Icon as Hellbringer's now here. Pharaoh tries to die to Kongor, and he will be successful. Great job by Zane. I think he triggered that Stomp as well with the illusions from Hellbringer, so heads up play from him to get that deny off, not giving away another kill.
Yeah, just talking about the Parallax itemization, he does pick up the Mystic Vestment, so I think he's going Gnomes, and it seems like it's the right path. I mean, we already talked about how much magic damage is on the side of Team Tim, so just furthering that, furthering their ability to, dampening their ability to be able to burst them down, alongside of having that that icon in his inventory is going to be essential this game. He can just keep the stacks rolling. It doesn't really feel like Team Tim is going to be able to do anything to shut him down this game.
We saw top tower fall to Prisoner. He's had a very quiet game so far. He got that priority farm bottom in the 2v1, farming 360 gold per minute. Apparently got 1,200 gold saved up. So I do think we're still going to see maybe the Portal Key once he gets gold for that. They're looking for a dive here on the Pharaoh, but Zane is not having it. He's not going up for any creeps. He's just playing this very, very patiently. Pebble's still quite a ways off his Portal Key as well. He's got the one death.
Kinesis lifts Tempest in the bottom lane.
Yeah, we did have a lift being used. Now Tempest, he picked up an early Portal Key. He's going to get his hole canceled immediately by the Malphus. He's going to get hooked into the tower, and Tempest is going to fall. So the attempt was there with that Elemental Void, but it's going to get countered immediately.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a huge kill for Hellborn, who already has the lead in this game with, you know, the powerhouse Parallax. Tempest is kind of one of the only saving graces that Team Tim had. You know, he's level 11, right? Yep. He's been doing a fantastic job this game, has the Portal Key. He already has an uphill battle for finding the ideal Elemental Void cast, as he's got to go against Prisoner and Hellborn, or Hellbringer rather. So
yeah, so the Tempest and the Pebbles, who were both given that priority farm for Legion, they've kind of been slowed down with the couple of deaths that they each have. Unfortunately, Team Tim not really hitting that timing that they were looking for. And again, the Parallax still doing very well. Middle lane, the Blink initiation from the Tempest. We'll see if Pebbles can get in range. He does miss the Stalagmite stun. We'll see if the team support gets here for Hellborn, as the Glacius does get the freeze on the Pebbles. Parallax is now here. He jumps into it with the energy field, though. He's going to get silenced up. There's the toss from the Pebbles. Can they bring this Parallax down before he gets another full shift off? He cannot, and Pharaoh takes him out. He gets the wall off on the Glacius as we see the next TP coming in. Kinesis is here now, and they should bring down the Pharaoh, as Engineer and Tempest will fall back. So it was a 3-for-2 fight. Despite losing the Parallax, they still get the better numbers advantage, taking out both the Hag and the Pebbles there.
That energy field was Oh, Hag died at bottom lane.
Hag died bottom
where
to
he
the
died
prisoner.
To prisoner,
So
yeah.
it was not in the mid lane. So that was a 1v1 pick off there for.
He had an
prisoner.
assist from Kinesis, but yeah,
probably. That's probably why he ported a little bit late to the fight too.
yeah. But Kinesis and prisoner, you know, once they have Hag in their clutches, can't get away. But you know, to me, the story of that fight was the energy field. Yeah, man. I mean, just came down right at the right moment when Parallax decided to go in on Pebbles and Engineer and got perplexed.
Bottom lane, he's gonna get shackled up. There's nothing he can do. Gets frozen as well. Very, very difficult for Hag going up against the Glacius and the Prisoner. She gets completely locked down. And now we have smoked up Parallax here with the Veiled Rot. He's looking to get some more icon charges. He's going to run straight into Engineer. Here comes the Silence, and he will burst him down quickly. Tempest is now here. He's got to be in trouble. He's got to be careful as he's going to go down as well. And that's going to be 2 kills going the way of our Hellborn side here. So we'll see if they can get some tower pressure coming out now in either the bottom or mid lane with these couple of pickoffs.
Yeah, those are huge picks. I mean, with Tempest being out, it looks like they're not going to be going for the mid tower, though. I guess they feel that their cooldowns are, you know, the fact that Earthshatter's on cooldown, it seems like they have to play around this, which almost kind of makes me think, you know, is Staff the right item for Parallax? As Wrath of the Pharaoh connects
Hook catching the Glacius here.
It's actually
this
Pharaoh
is too much damage, yeah. Glacius is going to fall, and they don't have any return pressure here for the Pharaoh, or at least enough. They get him to about 450 life. I wanted to get your opinion on the Prisoner going for Shaman's Headdress. So he does have 2,000 gold still saved up. You think that's fine? He went for the early build-up item. Looks like he's going to pick up the Blink there in the end. So that's still a 15-minute portal key.
I think it probably, you know, he was just reading the situation of the game. He was just kind of sticking to Hag in the bottom lane the whole game. And so I think going for the early Headdress was specifically purchased to just counter Hag's ability to lane against him. Right? He's got all of the tools in his spellbook. You know, Hag does not have a fun time against Shackles.
Up lane, we got Veiled Rots. Tempest was Veiled Rot. I think he spotted this out. They're going to jump in with the Prisoner. They get the Shackle on the Pebbles, and here comes the counter Elemental Void. It catches them all, and will they have the damage to bring them down? Here comes the Malphus, though, in response, and Tempest is going to fall. They do bring down the Hellbringer as well. Engineer goes down to the Malphus in the background, and it's a double tap for Hellbringer, so the fight concludes with a 2-for-1. Big ultimates coming in from both sides there to conclude that fight.
Whew, yeah, and now Parallax hits the 5 charge mark, so he gets a little bit beefier with the extra HP and mana passively on the item. And you know, I was wondering if he was going to go the staff route to get the shorter cooldown on his ultimate, but he actually goes for a spell shards, which
so he's going for the damage route here.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, honestly. He does tons of damage to Pebbles and Pharaoh, and if he can just take out those heroes very quickly, then you know, a huge chunk of damage in the way of Halunke is out.
Bottom lane, Wrath of the Pharaoh connects on the creeps, but he still catches them. The lift comes out. No counter pressure coming in, so that's just a pick off there. See if they get the tower here as well. Looks like they probably will get this tower. The middle lane, there's a hook on the Tempest. The tower is going to fall here to the Legion side. And then we see Tempest getting locked down. Here comes Parallax in the background. Takes out the Engineer. He can't get anything off. Or actually, he had the energy field on cooldown anyway. So they lose Tempest and Engineer for it, that tier 1 tower in exchange. And now we see the lead almost at 9,000 gold and a 4,000 experience lead here for Halunke for President.
Hey, this is what we want. We want a game 3 for these two teams. I mean, this is a hell of a back and forth right here. I mean, obviously, Halunke is in the driver's seat for this game, but you know, both of these teams taking one of the series is always a nice thing to see, and in a really stylish fashion too. You know, you don't really see a Parallax short farm being this devastating. Sometimes it feels like a hero like Parallax is kind of all or nothing, honestly. But I have seen this hero, you know, clinch victory from the jaws of defeat, I guess is the right way to say it. This hero just seems
analogy.
It just seems like it's never quite out of the game as long as it can just do something, as long as it can just find a little bit of space. This hero kind of if the game goes long enough, this hero is almost always a problem.
Jump mid lane. Pebble's gonna try for a toss back, but he gets silenced by Kinesis. He can't get the toss. They're trying to get a counter turn here. Do they have the damage with these 3 heroes? It looks like they're having trouble. As Pharaoh counter initiates now in with the hook. He's gonna get pulled in toward the tier 2 tower. They do lose the Kinesis, but now Pharaoh is going down to the Parallax and the Prisoner. And Parallax, he's still got that Earth Shatter up. He's looking to go back in. He's going to catch the Engineer here. Engineer's going to fall. Prisoner trying to catch more to keep the fight going, but there's a Stalagmite stun. Glacius with a portal key, by the way, catches the Pebbles. And Glacius, how about that? He has the portal key here already, and they secure a 3rd kill. And now Team Tim, they are on the ropes here, as they're going to lose their tier 1 tower. Lead growing to 12,500 gold and 4,200 experience. As the pressure, they're going to keep up that pressure, at least for now, in the mid lane.
10 charges on Parallax, picks up the Blessed Orb. Where's this Blessed Orb going? We thinking, yeah, Grimoire?
It could be a Grimoire, actually. Wretched Hag completely gets caught up bottom. Again, she gets caught by the PKs of both Glacius and Prisoner, and that is just very difficult for her to escape. How do you like Imuboy's decision here to try to go for a Hellflower? He's got 2
I was just
of the
thinking
3
that.
Arcana pieces.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him die right there, I took a look at his item choice, and I like it, honestly, because we don't have a Shrunken Head coming out on Parallax yet, and for those of you that don't know, Hellflower, or just silences in general, actually do prevent damage from Earthshatter during the duration of the silence, so it is a pretty big counter pickup.
But it doesn't cancel the cast, right? It'll still keep going. It just won't do damage. So yeah, it'll be on pause for like what's it, 5 seconds on the Hellflower? 4.5, something like that.
I think it's 5. I think it's straight up 5.
Yep, it is 5. Hellflower, very good.
Yeah, on top of the damage buff, so it still amplifies damage, right? That was added back. I remember for a while it was taken out.
I believe it's like 15%.
Yep, 15%.
Yeah, so it adds a little extra damage there.
So
I see Tempest working on a Shrunken. He's got Portal Key, Mighty Blade. It still will be very difficult for him to get off Elemental Void this game.
That's what I was just thinking.
I was thinking to myself when we saw this early Portal Key is, hold on, we might see a jump here. They're going to run into the Tempest. Glacius stops the Portal Key. They're not committing, though. They have Pharaoh scouting them out in the background. He catches Hellbringer. He does have a tablet, but he's getting stunned up. Can't get it off. They use the bats. And that's going to be a lot of cooldowns exposed. Here comes Prisoner with a hook. He's not going in with a Prison Break just yet. There it is. They will stop the Tempest Elemental Void. And do they have the damage here? Glacius jumps in with the Glacial Downpour. It gets canceled immediately. And this is a very sloppy fight, mostly because Parallax is in here. They're missing that big damage source. Now, they do get a double tap on the Kinesis, but it was a 3-for-2 fight here in favor of Team Tim. Parallax a little bit late to the fight. He's trying to find a pickoff, but they're going to all TP on out of here, so...
Yeah, Parallax actually, Nullstone, he just opts to counter that Hellflower pick right away, and it's actually really good. I mean, they only have... He can basically see the haunt... Well, what I want to say is he can't just get clicked on with a Hellflower, right? Somebody's got to cancel it with either Haunt or what? Elemental Blast?
Yeah,
Glacial
they don't
Blast.
have too many single target spells on Legion, so...
So, you know, if he's able to combo that with a Shrunken Head at this point, it's going to be really, really difficult to catch him out and end up dropping him. Do you think he goes Shrunken Head this game? I feel like it has a lot of relevance, even though Bat Blast is superior magic. I mean, almost every other
Engineer, Pebbles. So it's hard to say he shouldn't still get a Shrunken, but maybe with the Nullstone he can go into like one greedier item first. Maybe like finish the Spell Shards 3 and even pick up a Blink, but we did see the Mighty Blades. I think he just purchased, so
he did. Yeah,
he's going full defensive.
So Prisoner, this is going to be a staff of master on
We
Prisoner,
have Engineer getting Prison Breaked up. Tempest trying to give him some counter pressure, but here comes Hag now. They're looking to turn this. DD Pebbles is here. Prisoner might go down here in the background. Meanwhile, Hellflower is put on the Kinesis. Glacius throws out a freeze in the background, but Prisoner does fall. And now we have Wrath of the Pharaoh coming in on the Kinesis. And we see our Hellboards like kind of, not to say one by one, but they're kind of giving up these kills a little bit too aggressively without their Parallax. So I think with Hellbringer and Parallax both not being there, you almost got to question their decision to kind of be that deep into the Legion's jungle.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they just are kind of interested in just providing space for him to be able to finish the Shrunken Head. They don't want to take anything too risky. They don't want to risk him falling out, as he does have 10 charges. You know, you never like to see you lose up to 4 charges if you do happen to die in a winning engagement. It seriously devalues the icon purchase a lot, but
Smoked
he's
up
only got
Hellbringer
1
here
death this
mid.
game.
Let's see if they can get an engagement.
But I saw that, you know, he has the Warhammer in his stash, so he's going to be 800 gold away from finishing, now 500 away from finishing the Shrunken Head. So we're going to see that come out very soon, and I'm imagining they're going to group up immediately following that. What do you think about this Staff of the Master pickup on Prisoner? It's actually an item that I almost always overlook whenever I play this hero. I actually forget it exists.
It might go for, hold that thought, we might see an engagement here on the Prisoner. There's the Meteor down. They bait out 3 TPs, and I think they used the Hellflower there as well, so no counter from the Prisoner coming in. They're trying to get the catch, but they were not able to get that. You were asking me about the staff and Prisoner. I think it's a very good item on the hero. Allows him to be able to throw his prison break, and then they get shackled on top. So it's very good against the Hag. He can just throw it from a far range, and then when he gets stunned up, he can hook him backwards. And they might also be just rushing the Resto Stone on the Tempest. I mean, the Hellbringer, sorry. And then Prisoner could look to staff the Hellbringer. If Hellbringer has staff Resto, this hero has insane value, being able to do 2 Malphus as those go through Shrunken. So the Superior Stun is just very, very strong.
So safe to say, I mean, yeah, they just countered Tempest way too well this game. It feels like they just shut him down completely. Not even in the early stages. They let him do whatever he wanted, but they just decided the way they picked, you're never getting an ult off.
In lane, we have a Prison Barrier catching the Tempest. There's a Stalagmite stun. They're trying to keep the Tempest alive, but Hellbringer's here. And Glacius, they do use the Malphus as well. Definitely want to see them push a lane with the Malphus being committed, because that is a little over 2-minute cooldown being used, and I think they probably had that Tempest skill without the Malphus being used. We see Team Tim already up in the top lane. They want to either kill the guy that defends up here, but we're going to see the initiation from the Pharaoh on the Prisoner. They use the Bat Blast to hit the Hellbringer. Prisoner does fall as well. And now the slow comes out from Hellbringer on the Pharaoh. Energy field down in the background, but he gets taken out by the Parallax, who's now here. He has the Shrunken, but doesn't even need it for this fight. And they take out the Pharaoh as well. So 3 kills go in the way of Hellborn, as they definitely hold up there in the top lane. Great decision by them to take that fight.
Yeah, and they actually almost bring down the mid tower with Malphus as well. Hellbringer didn't even have to show up, so they're just winning on all sides of the map. And I'm not really sure what Team Tim actually does to get back in this. It just looks like they don't really have the toolkit available to them to be able to punish anything that Halunke is doing right now. You mentioned that they were playing split a little bit, kind of making questionable decisions by straying too far into enemy territory without Parallax, but it didn't really matter in the end, because now Parallax has everything they need. All they have to do is hunker down around him and make sure that their cooldowns to counter Elemental Void are up, and it looks like this hero is never going to die.
Yeah, and I think if you're Legion, the way to approach this game now, as they have a deficit, I think they have to split push and try to get more tower pressure, as well as try to get some more of these core items. They need the Hag Shrunken and perhaps the Pebble Staff, so that they can hold their high ground much easier. And
Hag actually has Shrunken Head coming out.
Yeah, so the Tempest Shrunken Head, although it's a great item for him, it's ultimately not going to, I want to say, save him from getting like a really good hole this game. It's going to be very difficult still, even with that item picked up. So I think it really comes down to the items from Pebbles and Hag. If they can continue to split push and spread out the Hellborn side, because right now they just have too many items amassed. They're way too strong if they take a 5v5 engagement, even though, you know, we talked about in the draft how good Legion's team fight lineup was. They aren't at that point with the current items that they have.
Well, a lot of their team fight kind of does feel centered around Tempest at this point, especially because, well, I say that only because Parallax isn't going to be able to fall to anything without getting caught by Elemental Void, unless he just gets caught in a toss combo alongside, like, everything has to be used on him, right? But whenever I envision this
Ooh,
team
hook
fight,
on here on the Engineer at the Legion Ancients. This should be a kill. And they don't even look to re-engage on Legion. They just sacrifice their Engineer there. That was a great hook coming in from Prisoner. I want to say that that was blind, actually. Don't think they had the vision. Well, it looks like Engineer was countering a ward. He has the Rev ward up there, so they did see him. But a good hook nonetheless. They get a pick off. We'll see if they look to take any objectives here. Perhaps secure the mid tower or maybe even a Kongor.
yeah, I'd like to see them take out this Kongor.
Freeze
Pebbles
mid
actually
lane,
gets
but no
count on.
follow-up coming from it. So yeah, I guess one of the downsides of the Parallax is they can't really do Kongor efficiently with this team. They would probably need Malphus to do Kongor, which they don't obviously want to use a big cooldown like that just to take out Kongor.
It also makes it difficult to break base without. I mean, you are relying on the Malphus cooldown to break base as well, right?
So I believe Hellbringer's still pretty close to the rest of Stone. I think he has Sustainer in his stash. We see Pebbles. He's going to go over the jump here. He misses, as we do see the Shrunken activated from Parallax. They might lose the Pebbles here. He does not have a buyback, so that will be a kill as the tower is broken. And now Engineer going to go down here. Maybe in the energy field. He holds his ground for now. There's the barbed armor up. Parallax doing a lot of damage to himself. He can't get out of this wall, and he will go down. The team support is not there. Pharaoh is going to sacrifice himself as he gets lifted up, and Wretched Hag now in the front lines. Will she go down? She does blink to safety. Can the Glacius catch him? He's got a portal key up in 3 more seconds. Hag looking to turn this one around as the Elemental Void in the background, but he gets taken out. So even with the Shrunken, he does get his hold canceled. Glacius might fall to the tower here as the rocket does some damage there. And we'll see if Hellborn can break the Rex. There is a buyback on the Engineer available, but he is currently healing in the fountain. We see 4 players still alive. 4 Halunki for President. This Rax is going to fall. And we have the first Rax go down here. Prisoner jumps in on the Hag. She does not have a Shrunken. She will fall, nor does she have a buyback. And we see Pharaoh also going down. Parallax, by the way, did use a buyback, as I did fail to mention that one. And we see the concede vote come out, John. Game 2's going to Halunki for President, which means we got a 3rd game.
The surprise Parallax pick
There's
coming in
the surprise
so
Parallax.
hot. So hot, man. The Parallax last pick was just so clutch.